Hello and welcome. Today we're taking a look at a recent C&R acquisition from Centerfire, a CZ50 pistol in 32 ACP. These were made in Czechoslovakia from the 1950s through the 1960s before being supplanted by the CZ70, which is basically just a quality of life refinement that shares most of the same parts. Double action as well as single action, this pistol features a single stack 8-round magazine, frame mounted, magazine release button and safety, as well as a decocker. These were made some for export, but primarily for their internal state police use. As such, many, like this one, do not have the typical Czech cross-sword military markings. I picked this one up from Centerfire for $300 shipped. It was advertised as good condition, but this particular one is easily in very good shape with matching serial numbers and grips free of cracks or chips. There's a rich blue on the frame and sides of the slide, and the Southern Tactical import mark is on the front of the frame grip, which, while I would love to not have to see import marks at all, is obviously better than a banner on the slide, so I do appreciate that. These have been brought into the country in various batches for at least a decade, but it's good to see that we're not just left with absolute junk, and there are still good examples available. This particular pistol was made in 1967, which was nearing the end of production for the CZ50s, which might explain the hammer being the later, more circular CZ70 style with the hole through it. Due to how much cross-compatibility there is between the CZ70 and 50 parts, this is not a cause for concern or something that I'm going to seek to fix, but it is interesting nonetheless. The magazine that came with this pistol is also a CZ70 pattern. You can tell because it has an extra hole in the body. Sights are small, but fine for a 75-plus-year-old design, with the rear being windage adjustable via dovetail and the top of the slide being left unblued to reduce glare. The trigger is heavy even in single action, being 8 pounds plus, and the double action is easily double that. Disassembly is very simple. Cocking back the slide and pressing the disassembly button towards the frame allows the slide to be lifted above the rails and separated from the frame and fixed barrel. Aside from the usual grime and residue that any 50-plus-year-old C&R firearm exhibits, this one had a few items that required more special attention. A strange, bright green substance near the breech face and chamber, mild surface rust on the feed ramp, and a more substantial rust spot inside the frame magwell. With some diligent cleaning and scrubbing with fine steel wool, however, this little guy came back to life brilliantly. The barrel itself was dirty and needed a good cleaning, but still retains perfectly acceptable rifling. These were directly inspired by the Walther PP series, and it also shares a few design similarities with its much beefier Czech brother, the CZ52, with both featuring similar contours and a safety decocker, though the CZ50 is more comfortable and familiar with its frame-mounted magazine release as opposed to the heel-mounted mag release of the CZ52. Also, compared to one of the other Eastern European 32 ACP pistols of the era, it is slightly smaller than the Yugoslavian M70. Despite that, it is much more comfortable to hold in the hand. Overall, it seems like a fine little pistol and an interesting historical piece. Now I just need to find a correct holster, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Nice.